Thanks for tuning in to Game Parent TV. This episode, we're bringing you the Kindts. Carl's a high school English teacher, lifelong learner, and a gamer, and Marla works in an in-house ad agency for a company that publishes medical textbooks. She admits to being married to a gamer. We had a chance to sit down with them and discuss what role games play in their family.
And when we first kind of became more serious in a relationship and saw each other more, and when we were first engaged, when we would go to his house, we would always play a game with their family. And I remember going out and they would be looking for new games. What new games can we get? It was a big part of kind of the first interaction I had with his family too, is that they seemed to really like playing games together.
I see myself as a gamer. Marla definitely plays games, but
I'm married to a gamer.
Right. I mean, in her household, there was never a video game system. In my household, we had it wasn't the first Pong, but it was the first Odyssey, the first Magnavox from the get-go. And Mom played, and Dad played, the whole family played. So I grew up with video games.
I think video games are just one thing on the menu of what do we want to do for fun. It's, in our house, it's watch a movie, TV, video game, board game, playing with our DSs is, I don't know if that's a subgenre of the big video games, but...
If there is a part that's just naturally embedded in our life right now, it's playing Animal Crossing on the DS. So it all started with, I think, Emma or Ursula. I'll let you ask them later if you want to, but one of them started Animal Crossing. They played together. They played with friends. And then last summer, Marla and Emma were out of town, and I was looking for something to do with Ursula that would be face-to-face, more close together than just going shopping or watching a movie. And I asked her if she would teach me Animal Crossing. She said, yeah. So I bought a DS, my first Nintendo DS ever, and got that and got Animal Crossing. That's all I got the first time. She spent a week teaching me Animal Crossing, and we played together, and just that interaction, being able to go into each other's towns, that was just really, really neat. I tried to get my children hooked on video gaming. Started with Emma because she was oldest. She came first. And she was about 3 years old.
Yeah.
And it was Mario World 64. I think it was called Mario World. And the mission I was doing at that time and trying to get Emma to watch just to see how it would work, imitating the behavior of video gaming so she would hopefully eventually pick it up. But just having her watch it like a movie was, the mission was to return a baby penguin to its mother penguin. And I was telling her, I need to take this penguin back to its mother, and I thought this is a great mission. This will be neat for her to see this as that mother and little baby thing.
So
she's
I would
3.
hook in a little girl used to playing with dolls.
Perfect moment.
I'm the
She's
mom
going to
of the
love
baby.
this. So I'm sliding around the ice world and trying to get a little baby penguin back to mama and doing the sliding. And I slide down this edge and that edge, and there's no railing, and I go off. And the graphic just shows Mario and this little baby penguin going off into nothing.
Yeah, I think Emma's reaction was like...
I just froze, looked over at Emma, and thought, I hope this doesn't really seem real. I hope this didn't take like I was hoping it would take. And literally her face just fell and she bawled. She cried. Literally her face just fell apart and she started bawling and crying. I would say one of the largest positive things video games have had within our family is learning to compete in a fair and friendly manner. I think that's a big thing. That's been a big thing throughout all the game playing and interaction that I wanted to try to use video games and also other games is to introduce competing with each other but in a friendly way, because I think that doesn't come natural to people. I think most people, when they compete, they either want to win or they just don't care and don't interact and don't really don't give it their best. I think there is a place for learning how to compete but in a fair and friendly manner. And I don't think unless somebody plays sports, and my daughters have played basketball, they've played some sports also competitively, and I think they've learned a lot of that there, probably more than they have from video games. But I do see that as a venue for teaching them how to compete, how to be, again, confrontational with someone they know and that they like, but trying to keep that on an even keel is a challenge. So,
just having video games as an option has been nice. I can't say that it's one that our whole family will turn the key together very often and say, yeah, let's do this. But there are certain games that we will play together. Maybe it says Rock Band, I'm on it.
Which is funny, especially when Rock Band first came in this house. Marla assumed this was for me. And this is probably one of the biggest conflicts we've had in our relationship in the last 5 years. I got Rock Band, and there are many complexities to it. I would need probably an hour to even explain some of the inner workings of how this was perceived.
The cost of video games is definitely an issue.
And so when that was brought in the house, that Rock Band was definitely seen as, oh, this is something more for me. And it was around Christmas time. It was around a time when I shouldn't be buying stuff just for me. And I saw it as a way to, again, get Marla more hooked into doing things that I know I like, that I know the girls would probably like. I went ahead and got it knowing that it would be a way to hook in, hopefully, most of the family. At least I thought it would be. So I'm glad I was right this time.
I was wrong, I guess. Maybe. Kinda, sorta. Yeah, okay. As I understand it, the ESRB rating system is kind of like the game world's movie rating system. So it's different or letters or whatever for it, but essentially it's kind of level appropriate for their age and gives guidelines for kind of why is it rated T for teen or M for mature. The ones I stay away from. Try not to let him in the house with. He's the one that buys the video games. I trust him, to be responsible in either introducing them to the games or making sure that, no, they're not age appropriate and they're not allowed to play those games. So after they've gone to bed for the evening or, away at friends or something, then he'll play those, just like we wouldn't watch an R-rated movie with him. I mean, it's the same kind of parenting decision-making. So I trust him to, whatever games he brings in the house, I trust that he's going to be responsible in introducing them to the kids. Although I have certainly questioned some, because I think his love of video games, much like his love of certain movies like Star Wars, have perhaps influenced him in, I want to introduce my kids to this because I love it so much, and then it'll be kind of like I'll be the one saying, I'm not quite sure we should be letting them see that yet. Well, I think I've said it previously that it's one thing in a menu of options available to a family to interact and have fun together. If you let your kids stay inside all day and play video games, much like in the previous generation, if you let the TV babysit your child, it's going to be a negative for your family. But if it's used, as a piece, then I think it's healthy and it's fun and there's certainly aspects that are good.
The big thing is play with your kids. Play with your kids. If you have kids, play with them. Don't just get them games and facilitate that gaming or monitor that gaming. Play with them. That'd be primary. And the two things under that are play whenever they ask. If they ask you to play, whether it's a board game, Candyland, at the right age, or some other game later. If they ask you to play, whatever you're doing, stop doing it. That world's not going to end. Stop doing what you're doing and play with them. But then second would be, don't wait for them to ask to play. Push them a lot into playing with you, or at least encourage them to play and initiate play with them a lot. You can work with your kids, you can teach them things, you can show them things, you can be a parent to them all the time, but you're only going to be a parent for a few years, and eventually they're not going to be under your guidance. And I really can't say I'm that foresightful that I thought, yes, I played games with my kids so they would play with me later when they're older. But that was definitely part of it, is what besides being a parent to them will I have as a basis of interaction. So play with your kids. Play with your kids.
It's better than playing with yourself.
Okay, edit. That's what's called an editing point right there.